As we continue to track the possibility of severe storms, a powerful tornado tore through the community of Kankakee, Illinois. This was yesterday. Buildings were destroyed across the county, and more than 4,000 across are still without power this morning. Fox Weather Correspondent Katie Byrne is live, assessing the damage out there this morning. Katie, I know you've been dealing with rain, soon colder air right behind it. How does it look this morning?
Good morning, Craig. Well, this is a busy area. You could tell that there's cars driving behind me. So very populated. It's a city here in Kankakee, which is a place that also saw a tornado tear through around dinner time last night. You've got a number of trucks behind me actually directing traffic away from the shoulder of one of these main roads here. On the other side of those trucks, you can see a number of houses that have been damaged by the tornado. We also can see some pieces of debris here in this grass, what looks like a piece of a house or a building here, and then some twisted metal debris as well. So based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like we're maybe at the start of where this storm was, and then it looks like most of the damage is concentrated that way, which the mayor has described as an unincorporated area of Kankakee. So we have to try to get out into that region once we have some time freed up to get around this area. But I was able to get on the roads in the last half hour or so. I mean, very busy area. We've got a community college here. I think the population's over 20,000. So a lot of folks who live in the area and a lot of people on the roads. Of course, that could be the people coming in to help with the recovery efforts, or the people that live in this area too. So we've got a number of things going on here, but when I was driving around, I didn't see too much damage, widespread at least, but I think the damage is kind of in more of the rural landscape areas that we're going to try to get into as the sun comes up and we're able to understand the scope of the damage a little bit more. We know that across parts of Illinois and Indiana, we're starting to see shelters pop up, open for people who may have been displaced because of the storms last night. We've seen a number of storms that we're tracking, but of course, one of the biggest ones, the worst ones to hit, was the one that came through here in Kankakee, where city officials say at least 7 people were hurt. No loss of life, and they don't believe anyone is still missing at this hour, but those crews were searching through the night, through debris, to make sure of that. Of course, they say they were inundated with 911 calls, people checking on family members or just alerting officials to what they saw. And they've also declared, made an emergency declaration here in the area because of the damage we are seeing. So we're expecting an update from officials around 9 o'clock Eastern time today on where things stand, what their priorities are right now. But we know outages are a concern. In fact, across the street, I can see these massive utility poles that are laying down on the road right now. So part of what these trucks are doing behind me is just, I think, letting people know that those poles are down, letting people know to kind of move into the other side of the road, and then also alerting people to some traffic lights that are out. So widespread outages, I'm not seeing so much, Craig. I think we're at about 150 people without power, but the outages that I am seeing are isolated, but it looks like the scope of the outage is going to take some time for crews to get these poles back up. They're big poles that have been down.
And Katie, our team is really good about keeping track of each other. I apologize. I don't know where you were last night. I don't know if you were in Kankakee or near there. Where were you last night? I know you talked about the drive in, but where were you? Were you able to hear any of what was going on around you?
Yes, I was in Chicago last night. We almost went to Peoria. We decided to stay in Chicago. I'm glad we did, because we ended up closer to get to this city. But in Chicago, I heard hail. I saw it outside my window, and then it almost looked like snow on the ground because of the amount of hail that fell in Chicago. But we are also, of course, monitoring all of the tornado warnings that were popping up for folks outside of the Chicago region. So here in Kankakee, we're about an hour south of where I was. I didn't see much damage on my way here, but now that you're into the city, you're definitely going to see things like pieces of trees, twisted metal, and debris like that from homes or businesses or buildings just kind of laying in places they don't belong.
And it's amazing how we've got cold air coming in behind that for snow well to your north. Having said that, can you describe the feel? Because a lot of us have been experiencing hot, humid conditions. What does it feel like there this morning?
It's cold rain. It's cold rain. I feel comfortable in this. I've got a number of layers on, though. I was debating, do I bring my winter coat? Do I not? Yesterday felt a little bit chillier than today for me, but the rain that you're feeling is definitely cold, which is, of course, concerning, too, that they're getting this next round of rain. Officials were warning people about this overnight because they were in touch with the National Weather Service, talking about how even though the tornado had moved through around dinner time, they had another threat moving through right around 2 o'clock this morning. And it looks like we're, of course, on the other side of that for now, but we still have rain coming down. The concern was, though, that we could see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Yeah, for sure. So many areas watching that threat continue today. Thank you for the update. Please stay safe out there. We'll look forward to your reports as the sun comes up. That is Fox Weather Correspondent Katie Byrne. Thanks for the update out of Kankakee, Illinois.